The Nigerian cement crisis, tax burdens and regional price distortions. Flint West reporting. Nigeria has a cement problem that really shouldn't exist because Nigeria does not have a shortage of cement. It has limestone, it has factories, it has production capacity of roughly 65 million metric tons a year, and it consumes only about 30 million tons. So this is not an economy desperately trying to manufacture enough cement to meet demand. Nigeria can produce substantially more cement than it actually uses. And yet, a 50-kilogram bag of cement can cost between 10,500 naira and 15,000 naira inside Nigeria, while Nigerian cement can be sold substantially cheaper elsewhere in the region. That is the contradiction. And that is where the story begins. Because somewhere between the limestone, the factory gate, and the Nigerian consumer, the economics are being distorted. Section 1. Start with the government. There is a 7.5% VAT on cement sold domestically. But VAT is only the beginning. You've got corporate income tax, withholding tax, education and health levies, import duties on machinery and industrial inputs, and then the broader regulatory burden surrounding the entire operation. The estimate cited in this discussion is extraordinary. For every 1 naira of domestic cement revenue, roughly 52 kobo ultimately goes toward government taxes and regulatory charges. Think about that. Take a 12,000 naira bag of cement. On that estimate, approximately 6,240 naira represents the theoretical tax and regulatory burden, more than half. This content is brought to you by Bobby Gigs. Promote your brand here and reach a wide audience across platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow the links in the description to get started. Section 2. And now we get to the really interesting part. Because when that cement leaves Nigeria, the economics change. Exports can benefit from exemptions from domestic taxes and levies. So the manufacturer suddenly has considerably more room to compete on price. And you arrive at this extraordinary situation. Nigerian cement can potentially be cheaper outside Nigeria than inside Nigeria. Same country, same industry, same productive capacity, different tax architecture. That's the export paradox. Section 3. But there's another piece of this puzzle. Competition. 3 major companies control more than 95% of Nigeria's cement market. And remember, Nigeria has roughly 65 million tons of production capacity against only about 30 million tons of domestic consumption. Normally, that should matter. When you've got far more productive capacity than domestic demand, producers should be fighting for customers. Prices should come under pressure. Margins should compress. The consumer should benefit. But that mechanism becomes weaker when the market is dominated by only a handful of producers, particularly when those producers can export surplus production and earn foreign currency instead. And that leaves Nigeria with one hell of an economic contradiction. Abundant limestone, excess cement capacity, high domestic prices, and cheaper cement beyond its borders. So the Nigerian cement crisis isn't really about whether Nigeria can produce enough cement. It can. The question is whether the economic architecture surrounding that production allows Nigeria's abundance to reach Nigerians. Because if domestic taxation raises the cost base, if exports receive more favorable treatment, and if market concentration weakens the competitive pressure that should drive prices lower, then building another cement factory doesn't necessarily solve the problem. You can increase production. You can increase capacity. You can have warehouses full of the stuff. And the Nigerian consumer can still pay through the nose. Nigeria doesn't have a cement scarcity problem. It has a competition and distribution problem, sitting between abundance and the consumer. Flint West signing off.